let's get to our topic. A discussion around gaming negativity and harassment. Okay. I'm going to read through these two sections that I have added to the show notes, and then I'm going to get to a discussion, not just within overall gaming, but within the Halo community in general. Because a buddy, coworker, Dom, he came over to my desk today. Will, are you looking that up for Peter? Peter, we're finding it out for you real quick. I'm sorry, I just don't have it off the top of my head, but we're getting it for you. Don't worry. So Dom came over to my desk today and he was talking about it, and he'd actually mentioned it first about how it really is disheartening to go online and consistently and every single time seeing something negative being said about Infinite or Halo in general. It really does not make me interested in the game. And I'm like, it's really funny you say that. It's really funny you say that because that's literally what our topic is kind of around this week. And that was before he even knew what it was. And it's funny that he comes up to me and we're talking about that and how true that is. But it's not just about being negative towards the game. It's about the harassment that is sent towards people of the studio, of other studios, of publishers, of community, whatever it may be. So let's talk about it. First up, Destiny 2 dev harassment has directly led to less communication from Bungie. This is by Paul Tassi of Forbes. Yesterday, a Destiny 2 player made the suggestion of a weekly PvP chat where Bungie talks with members of the community about the issues facing the mode and players give an input on what can be changed. In a perfect utopia, this sounds just fine. But in the real world, in the gaming industry that currently exists, it's hard to imagine such a thing happening without massive amounts of toxicity, and the conversation eventually led Bungie to confirm what's been clear for a while now. That dev harassment has directly led to more strained communication between the studio and its fans, when previously they might have been more open. Community manager DMG had this to say about the current situation, which encompasses both the Destiny 2 community, but is also part of a larger industry trend. Quote, "I dream of a day where video game developers from any studio can openly discuss their work without being harassed. Many in the comments say they do not condone harassment. I hope they also stand against it when they find that friends or family are engaging in it. Cases of harassment against our developers have actively made it harder for us to communicate with the broader community. It has impacted more studios than just ours. I hope that more folks can stand against this behavior in any community, whether it be gaming related or other," end quote. The straw that appears to have broken the camel's back in Destiny's case was a few weeks back when normally extremely chatty Sandbox lead Kevin Yanes confirmed that Twilight Garrison, a Destiny 1 exotic, would never return with its Titan Air dash. This led to a lot of anger and, yes, outright harassment, which caused Yanes to leave Twitter, outside of sporadic retweets of political causes he cares about. This was against the wider landscape of escalating dev harassment in lots of spaces. The most prominent story being women devs at Sony Santa Monica being sent explicit images because they were not yet sharing the release date of God of War Ragnarok, which caused the studio to issue a, quote, "don't harass our employees," end quote, statement. I'm unfortunately not sure what the ultimate answer is here, because I've been in the gaming community long enough to know that eradicating harassment, especially in a community millions large like Destiny's, is a tall order. DMG is right in saying the community leaders should stand up against harassment, and I've seen them do just that, though those community leaders are themselves harassed by some of the same toxic people. It feels somewhat nihilistic to say, but I wonder if there's any way to truly, quote, solve, end quote, this. At this point, I have to agree that certain conversations are simply destined to be too toxic to be productive, like some sort of weekly back and forth about the state of PvP, which includes probably the most hostile portions of the whole community. I very much enjoy interacting with Bungie devs on Twitter and elsewhere, but at this point it's hard to blame them from shying away from it, as dealing with waves of angry players all day from one rogue word or one misinterpreted tweet is not part of their job description. As ever, I can just say be better, though at this point I do wonder who I'm able to reach here. And then from Joe Hobbs of Ubisoft, he said the following: "As a game dev, releasing a game should be the most exciting part. But social media and general gamer entitlement make it a horrid experience from any of us who are public about what games we're involved in. I've received death threats in the past over Division 2. It's unacceptable. The ridiculous part is gamers complain that game devs don't communicate with them, but you know what happens when we do? Destiny 2's recent issues are one example. Then there's fix the game, telling an artist to fix matchmaking, and so on. The harassment that game developers receive is utterly disgusting, and I see it in the comments of most devs who say pretty much anything. A few months back, a guy posted about his mother being sick, and half the comments were get back to work and fix the game. So sure, they want us to be open and communicative, but look what happens when we do. Do any of us who aren't paid to deal with that, community managers, want to go anywhere near it? No. On social media, a lot of game devs won't even say what they do because they're scared of backlash, or just working for a specific company or on a popular game like Call of Duty or Apex, etc. Streamers and content creators that thrive on a reaction content and overreacting to things for views make things a lot worse. They have big audiences that whip them into a frenzy, then direct them at the developers, saying how bad the devs are, etc., and then wonder why they won't interact with them. Those are real people with day jobs like everyone else, and we don't need that bullshit. Sure, a lot of it comes to a complete and utter ignorance of how games are made, the time it takes, the processes involved so you don't break the game trying to change something so Bob can correctly loot his new codpiece. So, said multiple times in the show, said it, I can't even count how many times we've said it, where we have our tagline of don't be a shitter, right? I've said multiple times to people in the community that if you want to voice your concerns and your feedback, do it constructively and respectfully. And clearly there are a lot of people that take it too far. There's a reason why, and I'm not going to say I don't mean to do this because I do directly mean to do this, hence why I'm doing it. There's a reason why I called out the chat of the LVT stream when they interviewed Tashi for being toxic, for being for being childish, to being mean. And it wasn't everyone, but there were a lot of folks in there that were acting like that. And the reason why I brought it up is because it's unacceptable. And things should be put in place to prevent that from happening. I get that you can't plug every hole. I understand that. But more work needs to be done. And it's not just that example. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because it was a more recent one within our community. The fact of the matter is, yeah, if I see shit happening, I'm going to call it out, plain and simple. Because the thing that really irks me is that I don't want people to feel as though, oh, if I scream and shout at someone, things are going to change. Now, one may look at a Spartan situation and see that sometimes when he bitches out loud, some things do change. But I want people to know that it's not directly because of him. And the way he went about it is the wrong way. And again, it's not just him. And he said that he is working on changing, and that is fantastic, and I wish him the best. This just fucking sucks. I hate seeing it every single day. I hate seeing online, and I get it's the internet. I hate seeing online every single day, whether it be a Reddit thread, whether it be a Twitter thread, whatever the fuck it may be, where people are just going off, and I see it in Twitch chats, and they're like, 343 are a fucking disaster. They need to fix their game. This game sucks. I can't believe Forge isn't a thing yet. Why don't we have all these things that should have been there from day one? The devs are incompetent. Whatever. Okay? Or people screaming into, not even the void, but screaming at other people online who is not even their job to deal with any of that. And going back on the community manager thing. Yes, as a community manager, you are to be the voice of the community and to interact with them, gather their feedback, so on and so forth. But a community manager's job, or anybody within the community team of a developer, of a publisher, whatever it may be, it should not be in their job description to have to deal with the shit that they have to deal with on a daily basis. Not because it's part of their job, but just because it's the nature of the internet. It's the nature of people being assholes. They should not have to deal with that. Plain and simple. If you're outright sending threats, sending harassment to anybody, it can be a person of the community. It can be a developer. It can be an artist. It can be a designer. Anyone. Of a developer, a publisher, whatever. It doesn't have to be in-game. It can be outside. Anything. Then you can truly go fuck yourself. I understand people's frustrations. I've been frustrated countless times. There are things I'm still frustrated about with the game. But yelling at someone, threatening someone, is not going to change that. It's not going to make things go faster. It's not doing anything except making you look more like a piece of shit. You know what the best part is? This is what I love the most. Is that the beauty of the internet is that you can delete something, but it's never truly gone. It's never truly gone. It's the beauty of the internet. So let's say, and I don't care how old you are, regardless of age, you post something, you threaten somebody, whatever it may be, and you grow up a year, 2, 5 minutes, and you're like, that was a really bad decision on my part. I should not have done that. I'm going to delete that. You know what the best part about employers? They look at shit. Now, for better or worse, they look at shit, but the fact of the matter is, they can drum up old shit. And based off of your actions being a fucking asshole, acting like a fucking child, and I shouldn't even say that because there are children who do not act like that. You might lose an opportunity because of the way you act. Online, in person, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's video games. At the end of the day, it is a fucking video game. And not just that. It's a video game that dozens, hundreds, thousands, maybe a team of 10 or less people have put their hearts, their souls, their time into. And regardless of how the development process went, regardless the state the game is in, they still spent that time, that effort, that heart on that project. And for you to go out there, go into somebody's Twitch chat, go onto a Reddit thread, drum up complaints, drum up negativity. And I'm not saying all negativity is unwarranted, okay? It's fine to have criticisms. It's 100% warranted to have criticisms. Don't get me wrong. It's all about how you go about it. And that's the whole basis of this discussion, is that it's not even discussion. It's the whole point of this statement, is that it's all about how you carry yourself and how you portray yourself. If you are a part of the problem, I said it before and I'll say it again, you can go fuck yourself. I don't have time for you. I don't want you here. Plain and simple. Don't need you to be part of this community. While we all have frustrations, while we all have complaints, there are those who go about it just a different way, a better way of communicating that information, that frustration, that feedback, that criticism. As Joe Hobbs said it, as Paul Tassi said it, if this is me reaching out to everybody else that cares really, and you should fucking care. To those that have communities yourselves, to the content creators out there, to the influencers out there, to the podcasters out there, to the players out there, it doesn't matter. To anybody out there that cares to listen, and again, you should care. Do better. I'm not saying you are doing a bad job. I'm just saying do better. If you see something like this, then call it out. If that person is part of your community, then call it out. Because you could sit back all day and say that, oh yeah, what people are doing to them is terrible. That's fine. It's not just about that though. It's what people are going to do to try to change that. And I'm not saying, and like they said, it can't be changed overnight. Maybe it can't be changed entirely at all. But the fact of the matter is we can all do better. Because I've said it from day one. I said it during MCC. I said it during Halo 5. The thing that I want, the thing that I would love to see is the devs, is those at 343 being more communicative of things that are happening within the studio. I don't care if it's good or bad. Just additional communication. Said it multiple times. But the fact of the matter is, if shit keeps happening like this, then I don't blame them at all for not wanting to step out and say something. It's unfucking acceptable. And anybody out there that thinks I'm a shill for being like, oh, we all need to be super nice. And, oh, they don't think that we should be criticizing them. No, not at all. Go fuck yourself too for thinking that way. But no, that's not what it is. Not a shill for 343. Don't work for 343. Not paid by 343. I've criticized the fuck out of them before. I'll do it consistently in the future probably. But that's the difference. It's not about criticizing in an overtly negative and harassing way. It's about criticizing respectfully. Don't be a fucking shitter. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. The shit that Sketch, Uni, as those within the community, like in community positions of the company, and then just the devs, designers, artists, QA, whatever it may be, and the shit that they have to deal with on a daily fucking basis. And it's not just 343, it's all around the scene. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Beth says, the Bungie situation is exactly what I've complained about with the Halo community. We beg for transparency, but when we get it, we complain about the info we got. Transparency is transparency regardless of whether it's what we wanted to hear. If we continue that cycle, we're going to stop with the articles or blog posts telling us what they're working on, what kind of feedback they've gotten, and how they are or aren't acting on it. And I wouldn't blame them. 100%. I wouldn't blame them either. And to anybody out there that says, well, it's their job to listen to us bitch and moan. No, it's not. No, it's not. So stop it. It's not their job to listen to you bitch and moan. So to any 343 individual out there that may or may not listen to the show, just want to say that I'm sorry you guys have to deal with what you have to deal with. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't fucking imagine. Do I have my complaints about the game? Absolutely. There are things I bring up consistently on this show. But do I respect the time and the effort and the heart that you all put into it? I do. I do respect it. Obviously, I hope the game gets better over time. I hope that updates come frequently. But nobody deserves the type of shit that they receive. And I'm not just talking about the threats and their harassment. I'm also talking about all the idiots out there that say, fix your game. Because guess what? Who does that help? I go into a Twitch chat and somebody says, 343, fix your game. You got it. You got it. XYZ, douchebag XYZ. You got it, man. Just for you, man, I'm going to fix the game. Just because you told me to. I got you, man. Nah, fuck you. Are you kidding me? This is why I don't work for them. I mean, obviously, among other reasons, I'm not qualified. But, like, if I did work for them and I saw somebody say that, my immediate reaction, obviously, I'm not typing it, but my immediate reaction would be like, oh, fuck you. Like, you know what's best. All right. Yeah, man. Fix it for you. No. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm just mad.
I can tell.
Yeah. I'm just mad that and I know that it's probably never going to go away. I'm just fucking mad. Beth says, when people complain that the Halo account or dev accounts have blocked them and claim they didn't do anything, I was respectful, etc. That's BS. Because I've complained a lot, and not a single one of them has blocked me. So it's 100% about how you go about it. And Beth, like I said, I don't know anyone. Like, when Beth said that she's ranted before, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, it's always been good constructive criticism.
Yes, there's no way. There's no Beth rant out there. Like there's literally, there can't be, Beth. You're like one of the sweetest people in the world. I swear to God, like if you stubbed your toe, you'd be like, dang it. And then you just like walk away from the situation. Like when I stub my toe, I'm like, oh motherfucker. And then I like run off. I could never see you doing that, Beth. Dust says, there are things that 343 can't tell the community because people don't understand the work or processes that go into making a game or stop, listen, and try to understand. The majority of folks who are demanding are just selfish, entitled, and don't care about what the studio or the game. 100%. 100%. Or the ones that go out there and say, I know how they can fucking fix this shit. No, you don't. No, you don't. You think you do, but you don't. Just gonna throw that out there. There's a reason why, and we've said it multiple times, there's a reason why I love when Mickwin comes out and speaks about something that is something that's topical for competitive Halo. Because he did work for them. And he may not have been a developer for the studio, but he did work with the company. He worked on Halo Infinite in some capacity. So just that, when he comes out and he speaks about something, it's a point to, that's a time to listen as well. Because while he may not still work for the company any longer, he has that insight from both a pro player standpoint and an employee standpoint. And there's a major, major disconnect that happens within the community based off those 2 points. The netcode blog post was a pretty good litmus test for the community. Yeah, I can understand that. No. So here's another reason why this really pissed me off. And of course, because of the individual that said it, there was a lot of people that were, oh yeah, man, 343 sucks. This is why they never should have made this game. Blah, 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 blah. Nick Merckx. Do you see the clip them ref? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
You talked about the BR again and all that.
Yep. So Nick Merckx, a phenomenal streamer, content creator. This gets back to what was talked about within one of those previous posts, where Joe from Ubisoft talks about streamers and content creators that thrive on reaction content and overreacting to things for views makes things a lot worse. Nick Merckx is one of the epitomes of that, where Nick is so big in the space, right? And XQC is so big in the space. You have these streamers and these content creators and these influencers who are so big in the space where if anybody hears something that they say, they're going to take it as gospel and they're going to run with it because they want to support their person. And while I understand it, I don't respect it and I don't condone it and I don't like it. Because Nick also does not know what is best for the game. And I'm not saying I do. Okay? Let's not get shit twisted. I'm not saying I know what's best for the game, but Nick doesn't either. And so when Nick comes out and says that the game needs a battle royale, like the game's dead without one, I don't understand what 343 are doing. They completely dropped the ball. They fucked up not releasing one.
I mean, to that, he's saying it from his own point of view, where streamers are not always industry experts. I don't know.
Right, and he plays battle royales.
That's why he wants one.
Yes, it would probably bring in a lot of players, don't get me wrong, but like it would also help his numbers. There's nothing wrong with that. Get the bag, dude. No problem with that whatsoever. But that's the whole point, is coming out and preaching like you think it's gospel, and people latch onto it and they run with it, and then they just feed the narrative and they feed the negativity. And it's a never-ending vicious cycle. And we don't know if a BR is being worked on. For all we know, Max Hoberman and their team is working on that. We don't know. That's where the rumor goes, right? But that's the thing. As an influencer, as a high-profile streamer, even non-high-profile, I don't fucking care, as somebody who has a community, in my opinion, it is your responsibility to maintain your community, to manage your community, whether that be with added moderation, whether that be with yourself. Go ahead. I have a feeling I know what you're going to say.
It's so hard to do with someone the size of Nick Merckx, right?
1,000,000%. But and that's the other thing too, is that you have like mega superstars. You have like a Taylor Swift, you have a LeBron James, whatever it may be, if we're expanding into outside gaming, right? And you have die-hard fans for those people. And they will follow them to the ends of the earth. And they will, like Beyonce, right?
Yeah.
Don't be a Beyonce hater, because if you do, all Beyonce fans are going to be on your ass, right? And she doesn't make like sick them on other people. That's not what she does. It's just what that community has done and become, and they're not all like that, but it's just one example. It's just this whole influencer time that we're in, you know? And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just you have some sort of responsibility to be a better role model for your own fucking community. I'm not saying Nick Merckx is a bad role model, because I just don't want people to get shit twisted. But I said it before, everybody can do better. Everybody can do better.
It would have been different. Do you think, I guess, I don't remember his exact words, but did he even like say, in my opinion, or did he just state it as fact?
So I have not seen the whole, like, I haven't seen.
You saw the clip, not the whole like VOD or video or the other context to it.
Correct. I have not seen the full. I mean,
Dust says, people in those positions need to responsibly use the power they have in their communities, which is very true. Very true. So, but that's just like, it goes, I mean, you start going back down that path. You start getting into, the entitled gamers, the way the internet functions. You can go down the path of, I mean, I remember like games like Division 2 and whatnot that they talked about in that article. You know, people pre-order these games and then they get pissed when it's not what they expected or wanted. But that's kind of the way we've gotten into things with pre-orders is people like, I remember waiting for games to come out before, you know, getting reviews on them, waiting to see if they were actually good. Like that doesn't exist anymore. It's like everyone pre-orders because everyone needs it day one. You know, it's all about being the first, which doesn't always necessarily need to happen. Gives people the sense of entitlement over that game and how it was made, which leads to backlash and anger. Just doesn't need to be.
It doesn't need to be.
As you type up, there's been many times, I mean, I've told you before we started recording the show that, like, because of so many bad apples in the gaming community, it just makes me want to turn social media off, like just not be there, because that's all you see. Those are the voices that get out there and spewed about. And it's so disheartening to be like, me, I do enjoy playing Halo Infinite. It's, I enjoy my time on it. I know that there's problems, but you just go into the game being like, okay, well, everyone has desync. Everyone is dealing with this. Like, let's just enjoy what we can with this game. And they are working on it because of the transparency we've had. And as you've said before, as Chad has said, the more people get on their case, the more that transparency is going to go away.
Yep. So we'll get on their case in a harassing way.
Yeah.
I found the clip. I'm going to play it about the Nick Merckx thing, just so we have the full context. But Beth says, I haven't listened to it. We're going to. But with things I've seen in the past, him, Courage, Dr. Disrespect, etc., have always seemed to put their opinions out there like they're the be-all, end-all decider of everything, and it drives me nuts. Yeah, I can agree with that. Brian, with the 23-month resub, holy moly. Ooh. You get a woo! And then he says, sorry, all my sub-messages or paragraphs now, deal with it. Wow, 23 months. It's going to be 2 years before you know it. Time going by way too fast at the moment. Really hyped to be going to Worlds, though. So time can speed up to that, and I won't complain. See Dusty in the chat, long time no chat. Hope to see you at Worlds as well. Long overdue to see so many people. Need more meetups. Nothing gets me inspired to play Halo like seeing everyone in person again. Where's my damn hammer, though? Agreed. Where's your fixed hammer, though, is what you meant to say. Where's your fixed hammer? All right, here is the clip from Nick Merckx.
Are you going to... Okay, you're going to play the audio like through the mic?
Yeah,
okay.
So I apologize if this doesn't sound great, but this is the clip from Nick Merckx, and we can discuss after the fact.
And I'm going to say something, and I hope you guys agree with me. I can't imagine that you wouldn't, so I'm just going to say this in hopes you agree. The gaming community as a whole was ready for a new fucking awesome game, and Halo dropped the fucking ball. Everyone at that fucking company should be ashamed of themselves, man. 343.
So that's right there.
That's right there.
3 is a joke. They're fucking awful. They don't give a shit about anybody that plays their game, old or new. Their fucking pride and ego got in the way of what could have been an incredible timing, and just, God, it could have just fucking taken over everything. But instead, they have 800 people on the fucking game right now.
I got a block list. I'm sorry. I have a block list. So that means we both blocked him, which means it's really bad swag. So. Nicholas, I'm with you.
I know. How can't you be? We should all be playing a Halo BR right now together.
Only BR.
No.
Well,
as we just had a whole topic about, I get, like, if that's his opinion, that's his opinion. Fuck, I don't even know what to say now.
He literally shit-talked everybody at the company.
Yeah.
All the developers. Everybody that works at 343. You shit talked all of them. Every single one of them. Literally what we just talked about. And what you should not do. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want a prime example of what not to do.
That was it.
That was it. By one of the most prominent streamers in the world. Ladies and gentlemen. Quote, we should all be playing a top tier Halo BR right now, end quote. Unfucking believable. Go ahead. What were you thinking?
God,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
No. So Nick Merckx can then go fuck off is what we're saying.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Nick Merckx can fuck off in this
scenario.
Yep. He can absolutely fuck off with that. It literally what you should not do is what he did. And the worst part is that fucking Joe from Ubisoft literally said that's what happens.
Yeah, because now
his community is 100% with him.
Yeah. His first statement, which was the world was ready for like something new and different, right? Like a new game. I can agree with that. Things are pretty stale. Why is that 343's job? That's not.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
He obviously, and everybody else in that chat, whoever, Tim, and I think I may have heard Courage, I don't know. Obviously didn't pay attention to anything that 343 was saying prior to releasing the game. He bashes the company and the people there.
See you later, Dust.
Shouldn't be happening.
No, it shouldn't fucking be happening. And the other thing is, Tyler Beekle is the one that retweeted that and said, all right, Nick Merckx said what we're all thinking, Halo fans. No more fines. He took care of it for us. He doesn't speak for everybody. He does not speak for everybody, Tyler. Now, I don't know if your statement was partially sarcastic or not, but the fact of the matter is sarcasm doesn't carry well over text.
Very true.
Hell yeah, Dust. We'll see you there, bud. It's so disheartening. And again, I'm by no means saying the game's perfect. By no means is the game perfect. And the devs know that. They understand that. They respect that. And they're working on that. But to throw all of them under the bus like that and to say that they all should be ashamed of themselves like that, again, unacceptable. It's so fucking frustrating because that's... And I don't care if it was like, oh, it's a heat of the moment thing. Then fucking take a deep breath and wait before you start talking. This reactionary shit. I fucking hate it.
It's the it's fucking content creation though, right? Like he's trying to get fucking conversation going. And he's leaning on the fact that Halo's not in a great state. But it's one of those things where like I feel he wanted Halo to be good, not for Halo to be good, but for his own benefit, which pisses me off. That's what it feels like to me.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
He doesn't care about Halo. He just wanted something for himself. So. Anyway. I don't really know what much else to add.
I don't have anything else to add. Just that literally proved the point. That clip proved the point. I may sound like a shill right now, but I'm going to say this, and this goes to every developer, community member, designer, artist, QA, anybody that works at a publisher, developer, whatever it may be. You do get praise, and I know that you guys see the praise that you all receive when you receive praise. But I want you guys to know too that we appreciate you. Okay? All the work that you all put in, the countless hours, the time away from family, the time away from kids, the events missed, the crunch you have to put in. We appreciate the work that you do to make experiences that make us happy. And I'll end with this. Again, to everybody out there that is actively sending hate, harassment, threats, whatever it may be, saying things as gospel when it's not, and you don't speak for the overall community, you can go fuck yourself. And don't be a shitter.